Okay, I'm here. Apologies for the for not being here from the start. This is Oscar, your host for tonight's final. This is the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Challenge 1 final. The Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Challenge happening on Virtual Regatta Inshore, and this is going to be the final for the first one. So the top 12 players of this first challenge are competing in this final, and the top 2 of the outcome of tonight are going to go to the grand final directly. It's going to be 7 races long, including a discard after race 6. And yep, may the best one win. So first race was in Knockout 17. We're going to be cycling through the Olympic classes. So it's going to be Knockout 17, then Ilka, then 49er. Repeat that once, and then finally the last race is going to be on Knockout 17, since the challenge was raced in Knockout 17. So the outcome of the first race was FC Rich and Searching taking first and second place. Taking first and second place, and hopefully they can continue this streak and keep that position throughout the final. Only the top 2 will continue to the grand final in mid-September, I think it is. So we're going to have 2 challenges related to the Paris 2024 Olympics, and then 2 challenges related to the Paris 2024 Paralympics. So the first 2 challenges are going to be the Olympics, and the first, second are going to be the Paralympics. But all 4 challenge contribute to the same ranking. So the scoring is going to take place on the stream directly, and I'll then upload it to eSailing Ranks once the final is over. But if you want a quick rundown, if you're late or if you haven't seen what happened during race 1, here it is. FC Rich and Searching taking first and second place. Harder third, KGR fourth, 39 fifth. And Das Boot currently has 13 because he is replacing Mui, who unfortunately could not play today. And that made Das Boots miss the first race. But not too much worries. There is 1 discard, so I don't want to jinx him, but he is doing very well in this race, currently first. First or second. So if you can continue on this streak, that first race is not going to matter that much. Paris 24. Is this being scored on a site we can check on our own? No, it's being scored on a private thing that I have on my side. And I'll then upload it on eSailing Ranks and all of that for you to see. But during the final, it's going to be scored by the race officers, which is in this case me. No worries. Paris 2024 is just over. Was wondering if anyone in the chat right now did follow a bit what was happening in sailing or in other sports. What were your thoughts on it? And in the meantime, the fleet is approaching mark number 3. Jose Gote, Tabus, and Searching are currently leading, and a very how to say that we have within 12 players we have 3 Brazilians and 4 Japanese. We had 5 with Mimu, unfortunately he couldn't participate, so a lot of Brazilians and a lot of Japanese in this final. where usually we would see quite a lot of Italians, maybe some French. Good to see some from GBR also back in there with Von Pigeon. And I do see that we're currently with 11 players, so we had a disconnect. Maybe they can rejoin the rejoin feature. I didn't see who it was. I believe it was one of the Japanese, so FC Rich, Yuko, and KGR are racing. And yeah, I just can't get my head of who's missing. It's Chico. Chico is the one missing. He did say that he had some connection issues where he was. Hopefully it's not going to affect him too much. There is going to be a discard, so it is kind of like a joker card in some ways if you get a disconnect to not count the results. And well, it's going to be a tight finish between Jose Gori Dasboot and Searching. I believe Jose Gori is going to be the one crossing the finish line first. We'll see how that turns out. KGR and Harder are fighting at the back of the fleet over here. Oof, that was a tight finish. So Jose Gori first, Dasboot second, Searching third, Mordi Napoli fourth, sorry, Von Pigeon fifth. This is the ranking after race. Well, this is the ranking for race 2, sorry. And we'll start race 3 in a second. Okay, well, here's the leaderboard. Searching currently first with the second and third place. FC Rich first, well, second with the first and sixth, and Jose Gori third with 9 and 1. So big difference between the Nakra 17 and the Ilka for Jose Gori. We'll see how he fares in the 49er. It is currently 27, so the race is about to start. And looks like Chico is dropping out. So 27, the race starts, and that's it. So race 3 in the 49er, another Olympic class. Very fast boat, like sits upwind. Very different from the Ilka and the 49er. And the Ilka. I don't know what I'm saying. Very different from the Ilka and the Nakra 17. There we go. Boat are approaching the start, less than 30 seconds before the start. Pen start detection is active, so if they try to do a pen start, they will likely get caught and get an additional 10 seconds penalty. And we're off. And looks like a penalty on Jose Gori, who did a false start. with Green 9 taking the lead on the left-hand side of the course. Searching on the other side of the course, so searching is going, or I was going to say searching is going faster, but actually no, Green 9 is by 0.5 knots almost. He is in an area where there's more wind pressure, so the darker areas on the water is where you would see more wind pressure, more wind, and well, the 49er does like its wind. Compared to the Ilka, most of the difference is going to be played on the upwind actually, so the wind shadow isn't that much of a factor in the 49er. So most of the strategy is actually happening on the upwind, this boat. And we have Clem, the FC, who's saying hello. Good luck, guys. Go Ame and good Von Pigeon. I'm assuming you're going to support these two players that we do see very often in various finals. Ame and Von Pigeon both commentated with me in past finals. Both, I believe, are already qualified for the eSailing World Championship semi-final, which is happening early September. And that's actually a good transition for me to talk about the eSailing World Championship. So the Challenge 6 has just finished, the Marseille / steering the course one. So the final for the challenge is going to be happening on the 21st, I think it is. On Wednesday 21st at 20 UTC, 8 p.m. UTC. And the steering the course final is going to be for females only, and this one is going to be on the 24th. And right after the 24th, we have the final for the Paris 2024 Challenge 2. Again, taking the top 12 players from that challenge, 7 races, including a discard. We'll come. No worries. A second upwind after this upwind is going to be another downwind until the finish line. So far, fleet is quite condensed. There's a bit more of them are currently tacking to be on starboard, try to get this this wind pressure slightly on the left-hand side of the course. But we do have, for example, KGR continuing on the right-hand side of the course. Searching decided to go on the left, where it is quite dark, so normally a bit more wind than on the right. It looks like searching is in a rather comfortable position over here. 30-ish meters in front of FC Rich. Both of them 30-ish meters in front of the third, Mauro Di Napoli, who missed his first race, Mauro Di Napoli, arriving at 11th, but did catch up after arriving at 4th in race 2. Currently third. Hopefully he can maintain it. So he might be slowed down by the boats behind him. No, looks like he's out of their wind shadow. And looks like Searching is going to be the one who crosses the finish line first, and FC Rich is going to be second, and Marty Napoli is going to be third. And then it's going to be a bit more complicated with the boats behind. So let's focus on them. Fun Yuko over here. Just a quick shout out to the 3 Japanese players who are currently playing. It is 5 a.m. for them, so hats off to them for making it for this final. And to FC Rich for still arriving at the top of the leaderboard. Currently second overall and second in the race. Here's the ranking for race 3. So as usual, I'm going to be updating the scores, show you the leaderboard, and we're going to go straight into race number 4, which is going to be Nakra again, but this time in reaching. So it's going to be a fast race, and it's going to be exciting. And there we have the scoreboard. So Searching still first with 6 points, FC Rich still second with 9 points. Very strong performance by these 2 players so far. Hoshigori tagging along in 3rd place with 16 points, 9 first and 6th. Harder, Green9, and Morty Napoli are all 3 of them tied for 4th place. And Dasboot is slowly climbing up the leaderboard, so currently 7. Maybe he can make it in the top 2 at the end. And race number 4 in Nakra 17 reaching will therefore start in just a minute at 39. And yeah, I see you in the chat. Let me know who or which player you are supporting in this final when you're looking at this leaderboard. And it's currently 39. All players are in, so the race may begin. So reaching start, that means that the win is going to come from the starboard side of the boat. That means the right side of the boat with the Nakra 17. So it is a foiling boat, so the boats are going to go very fast at the start and going straight into a downwind. So it's going to be a hectic start. And it's going to be a very fast race because the Nakra 17 is quite a fast boat. And we'll see who performs the best in this course. So the first race in Nakra 17, it was FC Rich and Searching, currently both at in first and second, who made it first and second during the first race in Nakra 17, but it was an upwind. So we'll see in reaching how they fare, and we'll see if Marty Napoli has more luck with the Nakra 17 in a reaching start. We see quite a good start over here from Ame, who is going to be the first one to reach the mark, I believe. And I jinxed it. And he touches the mark. That's going to be costly. And Jur 7 eSailing is supporting Green 9. well, from Greece, obviously. Very good player, very quiet player as well. We don't see him very often, but when he is here, he does perform very well. He was one of the eSailing World Championship finalists in 2023, and he was also one of the OES, so the Olympic Esports Series finalists last year. So he is certainly a name to look out for. Currently 5th overall in the overall ranking with 18 points, so as I said, tied with Harder and Mordi Napoli. And RG Tyler, well, good to see you here. Come on, Rick, supporting Von Pigeon then. Von Pigeon currently first. I'm gonna say that, well, first fighting with Yuko. So it looks like Yuko took the wrong side of the course. A huge shift over here. Was not paying attention to that. And well, it benefits Hosikoti, Harder, and Von Pigeon as they head over to the downwind. Let's have a quick look at the scoreboard so far again. As you see, searching FC Rich, we're first and second throughout the night so far, after 3 races. Von Pigeon currently 9th with 24 points. He's gonna have to continue performing well like he is currently to hopefully reach the top 2. And also, don't forget that there is a discard after race 6, so your worst performance will be avoided from your score. That means that if you do a race where you finish last, then we won't count this race into your overall score. Just be careful that the last race, of race 7, is not discardable. So only the races 1 through 6 included can be discarded, and only one of them will be. And well, it looks like Searching is having a bit of issues at the back of the fleet over here. And so is FC Rich, both of them currently 10th, 11th. Looks like they did not like the reaching as much as they did the upwind. And you can see FC Rich doing these small maneuvers, trying to gain some meters upwind by going slightly upwind and then coming back down into a more reaching. Sorry, I forgot the name of this maneuver. Basically, kind of pumping the air into the sail, so you try to get enough speed to not be slowed down too much when you go a bit more upwind, and try to gain some meters well upwind that way. And I think Ame is one of the players who actually does that very well. And well, it's going to be a fight between Mordi Napoli and Jose Cotti. Mordi Napoli, who managed to arrive, well, to be second. I don't think he'll be able to catch up on Jose Cotti, because the finish is in reaching again. Okay, and there we have it. After race 4, Searching maintaining the lead, and Jose Cotti arriving in second position in front of FC Rich, who just stopped out of second place. But tied with Jose Cotti at 17 points. And it is currently 49 with everyone in. So the next race may begin. So this is race number 5 in the IL Cup. The other Olympic class boat, very slow boat, upwind, quite fast on the downwind, and most of the strategy is going to be fighting in the downwind to slow down your opponents with the wind shadow. So it's not as big as, for example, the Star, but it is pretty prominent for this boat. And Tier 7 eSailing, OK, Rick and Giannis will do next one. Well, Von Pigeon did arrive 4th in the race just before, and Giannis unfortunately arrived 10th, but he's 6th overall, better than Rick, who is 9th. So, 10 seconds to start. Watch out for the port starts with the penalty start. If you take a penalty and cross the finish line port, you will get a penalty start, but that was look like a great start from Yuko over here, who managed to slip through all the boats, cross the start line just in time to not get a false start, and putting him in a very good position over here. And he is in a position where he can more or less control the fleets, although three of the boats did go to the right over here, Harder, Hosekoti, and KGR. Most of the others decided to stay on the left, like the E9. Over here, as the water lightens up, that means that the wind shift, well, the wind pressure has vanished. We're now in lighter winds. Did anyone in the chat want to go to Marseille at all during the Olympics? With a nice lefty coming in. Yep. And look who's at the top of the ranking according to the game. It is Green9. I'm not sure he'll be able to maintain that position. AGR attacking just in front of him, and Yuko maintaining his lead after the first upwind. Chased by Harder as a KGR touches. No, it didn't touch the mark. That's an 18. So 18 is the number of the penalty that the number of the rule that takes over next to the mark. So when you enter the mark zone, represented by this darker circle around the mark on the game, you get a change in the rules with Rule 18. And let's see if Harder and Yuko are going to fight a bit. Harder is going slightly faster than Yuko. He managed to catch him a bit in his wind shadow. But it's very tight between both of these players. And Harder overall is 5th with 21 points, where Yuko is 11th with 36 points. And this is going to be the second upwind. After that, it's going to be a downwind again. all the way to the finish line. So this being race 5 means that after the next race in 49er, the discards will be applied. And so the discard is basically just canceling out the last, well, not the last, the worst race. Well, the first worst race that you've done. So if you finished 11th at some point, then we'll cancel that race. And having a quick sneak peek at the leaderboards, you basically have to look for players who have maybe performed well in most of the races and have like one off race ruining their positioning in the overall ranking. That might benefit them a lot. As Yuko and Harder are approaching the top mark again. And Yuko is going to be the first one to reach the mark zone, and it's going to be Yuko and Harder first and second again for at the beginning of the downwind. We'll see if Harder can catch up or if he'll just confirm his second place. Yuko is not in Harder's wind shadow just yet, but he will eventually. As Jose Godi is not far behind them, so that's going to be a great race for Jose Godi again, currently second overall. If he manages to maintain his third position in this race, he is certainly confirming a bit more his position in the top 2 of the overall ranking, as Yuko is going to be the first one to cross the finish line, followed by Harder and Jose Godi. And looks like Fun Pigeon is going to make it 5th, just after AIM. As the last little feet slowly reach the finish line, searching, closing the march. So, results for race number 5. Yuko first, Harder second, Jose Godi 4th, Fun Pigeon 5th, 6th with KGR, 7th for Dust Boots. And we'll see how all of that updates the overall standings. And there we have it. Scoreboard after race 5. We have the 3 Brazilians at the top of the leaderboard with 20, 23, and 24 points. We'll see how that changes with the discard. I think Harder is going to be in a very good position with the discard if he manages to stay under 10th. This is the 6th race, so in 49er, and at the end of this race, we'll be applying the discards. So let's have a look also what other player can shoot up. Searching can definitely shoot up with the 11th place being discarded. And then I think Ame maybe has, sorry, Green 9 maybe has potential depending on this race as well. We'll see how it goes. It is 01 and the race is supposed to start at 02. All players is in, so as soon as we reach 02, the race will start. But yeah, very strong performance by the 3 Brazilians over here. They've likely been practicing together. And again, a quick shout out to the Japanese player who are racing at currently 6 a.m. at their time. So definitely not the easiest time to concentrate in. So this race is going to be the same as the last 49er race. It's going to be an upwind, well, 2 laps of upwind, downwinds. Again, 49er, most of the strategy is going to be in the upwind compared to the Ilka, which was in the downwind. It's a lot faster and a lot more like a kind of like a nervous boat, where the maneuverability is a lot more responsive than with the Ilka. Ten seconds to the start. And a lot of the boats are bunching up near the protest committee over here. I was going to say I'm surprised no one's taking any penalties, but we did have 2 penalties from Moro di Napoli and from Searching. And Yuko starting the race again in first position. We'll see if he can maintain it. Next to KGR is that FC Rich over there. That is, so we have the 3 Japanese on the same line, sandwiching harder as Yuko decides to tack away and go get this wind pressure on the left. We can see that he is going faster than the boats, more towards the right by almost 0.5 knots. And he is exiting the wind pressure, so he's going to slow down a bit. Press powder harder, faster, stronger. You know, I actually think of that every time I think of the name. Shout out to Daft Punk. Alright, so yep, boats approaching mark number 1 at the top. There's going to be an offset mark, and well, KGR is the first one to reach it. But he is still closely followed by harder, better, stronger FC Rich and Fun Yuko. Both going more or less at the same speed. And yeah, and hopefully they can keep it. Hopefully I don't jinx it, but a very strong performance from the Japanese players so far. As we see over there, there's a nice little duo between Yuko and Green 9. Yuko, who was forcing Green 9 a bit more to the side. And it was a penalty from Harder. Rule number 10. I didn't really see what happened. And I did slow him down a bit, but not that much. He is still 5th in the race. And also still 2nd in the overall ranking. Again, the top 2 only will go to the semi-final. And Clem, if you're still here, actually, I saw your message. And this applies to everyone else who may have qualified for the eSailing World Championship Challenge 6 final, so the Marseille Regatta. You should have received a mail by now. And if you don't see it in your inbox, check your spams. And if you don't see it in your spams, then you should have received also a splash screen or notification on the game itself. But basically, if you are qualified, well, the top 80 not yet qualified are guaranteed to get a place if they register in time. And the 80 following not yet qualified will be placed on the waiting list. So I believe the 80th player in the final, well, in the challenge, sorry, was Pepino with 69.1 point. So if you have more than 69.1 and you're not yet qualified, that means that you're eligible for the final of Marseille Regatta. As we see, KGR maintaining the lead throughout the race, Harder maintaining his 2nd position, and Yuko and FC Rich 3rd and 4th. That's going to be great for them, and a very strong performance from again from the Japanese in this race. I do see some boats going on the right, completely over there. That's Moro di Napoli. With searching. We'll see if that pays off. And yeah, KGR is going to be 1st across the finish line. Harder is going to be 2nd. It is going to be tight with Yuko. Oh, Harder has it. And that is going to be race 6. So, again, discard is going to be applied. That means that the worst race that these players have done in the first 6 races is going to be discarded and, ignored from the overall score. So we'll see how this shifts the rank. There we have it. The ranking after race 6 with the discard applied. Yeah, I'd be very interested in seeing Japan versus Brazil in the Nations Cup. Hopefully both of the nations do sign up. But with the discard applied, it is Harder taking 1st position, Hoseguri taking 2nd position with 15 and 80 points respectively. Searching in 3rd with just 1 point behind. FC Rich 4th, 3 points behind them. So we'll see how these 4 players perform during race 7, because the race 7 is going to decide everything. So race will start in 2 minutes at 15. And I guess it's time to place your bets. who is gonna take it home? Who will the 2 players be that qualify for the grand final of the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup? And well, I'm not gonna bet because I'm a race officer, so I can't really do that. But yeah, who do you guys think is gonna make it? Is the Searching and FC Rich gonna be able to nick the first and second place from Harder and Hosikoji? Or are Harder and Hosikoji gonna confirm their position first and second? Less than a minute till the start. Race 7 and Knockout 17 start procedure has been launched. Upwind, downwind again, so it's not the reaching. Who is going to take it home? Just as FYI as well, so there's 4 challenges in total. This is obviously the final for the first challenges. 2 players from each of the challenge finals are going to qualify to the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Grand Final. And then we'll be taking players, the first player from the first players from the overall ranking, players from the first male players and the first female players as well are going to make it. And final is going to be 12 players as well. So so the whole competition is basically being raced in fleets of 12, whether it's in the challenge 1 second to the start. Looks like we have a touching the mark over here from Ame. Not his best performance, unfortunately, for him. And well, Searching ahead of the fleet over here, decides to tack. And so if we look at the scores again, basically Searching and FC Rich need to do quite a bit better than Harder and Hosikoji. I think it's going to be hard for them to beat Harder, since there's 4 points difference between Searching and Harder. That means that Searching would have to place 4 places ahead of Searching to be able to push him down. But with Hosikoji, Searching, and FC Rich, probably a lot more manageable to get into the top 2, since there's only 3 points difference between them 3. And who is the player who's going to cross paths with Green 9 over here? It's going to be Hosikoji and FC Rich. Speak of the devil. FC Rich, taking first place. If he can maintain that position, that's going to be very good for him. 22 points, and then he just needs to make sure that that either Harder finishes 7th or 6th, or that Hosikoji finishes 4th. And for searching, well, he's battling with harder, but it's not going to be enough for him to be in the top 2 for that. Green 9 in the mix is in the top, well, third in the race over here. Also not his best performance overall. 11th overall with 38 points. He did have a couple of issues during race 4, 5, and 6, surviving 10th in each of them. But for the honor of making it third, it'll be good. And FC Rich still maintaining his first position. Looks like he's quite clear of all the other boats. The goodie is the boat over here. But again, with a fast boat like the Nakra 17, you can catch up quite easily, and Nakra 17 doesn't go upwind very well. You can see that its angle towards the wind for upwind is like 55 degrees. And FC Rich deciding to stay over Hosekuri, trying to maintain in his wind shadow, slowing him down just a bit. Nakra 17 doesn't have a big wind shadow, but any 0.1 knots can count, as he did manage to pull away with a 60-meter lead. That is a very good performance from FC Rich. Hosekuri is also second, so that's not going to be enough to knock Hosekuri out of the top 2. It's all going to depend on where Harder finishes. So as a reminder, Harder has 15 points overall and is the one leading. He is 6 points ahead of FC Rich at 21 points. And there we have it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the ranking shifts. Only the top 2 will continue to the grand final. FC Rich, great performance from him in this race, arriving first. Hosekuri maintaining his second position, arriving second in the race. And Green 9, nice to see him at the top of the ranking over here. And there we have it. So Hosekuri taking first place from Harder. Harder barely making it in the top 2. Well, actually, it was very tight between these top 3 players. Hosekuri 20 points, Harder 21 points, and FC Rich 22 points, and Searching 23 points. There are just 1 point difference between all of these. Between the one at the previous position between these players. So 3 points difference between all of them. So big congratulations to Hosekuri and Harder, the 2 Brazilian players, making it to the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup Grand Final. Congratulations again also to FC Rich, Searching, being very close to making it as well. And KGR, Morty Napoli, Fawn Pigeon, Yuko, Dasboot, Green 9, Ame, and Chico Pimelo. Also some tight racing. It was a very challenging final. It was the Olympic classes, so very different boats every time. It's only 7 races with 1 discard. It went pretty fast, as you see. The final, we did finish it quite quickly. So congratulations to these players. As a reminder, there is the Challenge 2 happening at the moment for the Paris 2024 Inshore Cup. So make sure that you get your races in to hopefully qualify for the Challenge 2 final. We will be taking the top 2 from each challenge final and the top of the overall leaderboard. The best players, the top male and the top females. And I think it's time for us to call in a night. This was Oscar, your host. Thank you guys for hopping in. It's been a pleasure. It was a blast watching these races as well. Very tight racing. And well, I'll see you for the. We're gonna actually have quite a lot of finals happening next week. We're gonna see the eSailing World Championship Challenge 6 final on the 21st, the Steering the Course final on the 24th, and the Challenge 2 final on the 26th. So quite a lot of finals happening in next week. So stay tuned, and thanks you all for joining in. We'll see you next time. Bye.